Hi, I am back in Warsaw. I forgot to film the whole journey. I am in a rush. I need to run and visit my bubble tea place, my favorite Asian food store, and McDonald's before they all close for today. I can't wait. There's always a huge mural commercial here. It's hand painted every time. Look at this. Architecture in Warsaw, more likely than you think. So I binged the KJ Charles books and I completely ruined my Audible recommended section. I cannot get away from historical romance right now. The only thing I get recommended are historical romances, alternative historical romances if I look for sci-fi, or like historical romances with a dash of magic if I look for fantasy. Honestly, I kind of feel like a romance burnout right now, so I think this month will be like hard sci-fi. I think I will read The Martian. Romance burnout. Famous last words. So, having said all of that, I decided to not give up on romance genre and maybe try just to search for contemporary instead. That's how I stumbled on Call Me Maybe by Cara Bastone, no sé. Anyhow, a contemporary romance, which it's an audible original, and I decided to give it a shot. It was given some awards, like Audible specific awards. Very safe. I'm being very safe. And I loved it. The story is about, I'm sorry that I'm already boiling water, but like, I could put it on boil later, but never mind, you just have to be fine with it. So, I loved it. It tells a story of Vera and Cal with a K, but spelled by C in whenever he's staying in America, who's a customer service representative. And Vera is... what is this? It looks like sanding paper, but I think it's just some algae. I'm not going to eat this. Excuse me? So Vera is trying to start her own company, and she calls customer service, waits on hold for like 5 hours, I think, and then she's connected to Cal, and that's how they meet, how they get their meet cute. And the first thing that I noticed was the narration. This book has a which is a huge plus, like first plus for this experience is the style of narration that they chose. It is very common that romance books, are written in dual point of view, hero and heroine, but typically when they are narrated as audiobooks, the heroine chapters are narrated by a woman, including dialogue options said by a man, and the male chapters are narrated by the guy, including the female voice parts. And because this book is so dialogue based, I think like 90% of the plot is 90% of the plot is dialogue. They decided to just keep the dialogue split between the actors, so you get the experience of just, enacted dialogue. It's just great. It's great. And the voice of Neil, hold on. Yeah, never mind. Mistakes were made. So Neil Gallagher is the hottie, and I also, when it comes to female narrators, they are never ever chosen for original voices. I would love to listen to an audiobook narrated by somebody with a very distinct voice, like Florence Pugh, for example. But no, it is not to be. They are just meant to be pleasant and unobtrusive, and usually they do good with narrating male voices, like differentiating between voices, but they don't have a special timbre, a special flavor to their voice. Niall has one though. So, great voices is my point. And I cannot just overestimate how much the fact that the book is a dialogue makes it a much more pleasant experience than it usually is. I just love dialogue-based auditory experiences and books in general. When I had a phase when I was reading fan fiction that I used to sort by dialogue only tag, and I used to only read books fanfics that were exclusively dialogue. I just love that for whatever reason. Look, I have tiny little kittens, panda. Just look at this. It's like I don't know, it's a little cat. I don't know why they have that though. Oh, it's this guy. This little... Yeah, so I think one more minute. Hot tip for straining your noodles. Don't strain into this. Put this side up. Just look at what I'm doing. And take it like this, because I need to keep some water. Maybe I will turn off the boil. I need to keep some of the water inside the pan, so I make it covered and then I strain. Okay. That's what it looks like. There's just a little bit of water left and those kittens. I honestly, the flavor of the regular spicy chapaguri neoguri is great, so just go with that. I don't know. I'm going to let you know whether it's tasty, but I'm not sure whether it's going to be. So I already covered the tropes, the tropes that they utilize. Of course, there is a meet cute. There is a perfect man and a quirky heroine. So meet cute does need explaining, but let me cover why I loved the execution of the perfect man in the book. And that's mainly because he's perfect, but in a very achievable, in a very achievable way. He's not the
alpha male billionaire. I'm not going to tell you the specifics, but let it be said that he can be this character who's perfect because he's a perfect match to the heroine, could and is also described as a lame guy. Like, he could be portrayed, like, if you turn his characterization and, you know, him having very specific hobbies around, he could be also written in as a not very cool character, you know, he's not a very cool romantic option, but still he's very, very appealing as a person. He has very appealing personality, and also he's barely physically described. We know almost nothing visually about the guy, and it doesn't really matter, which is also a plus. So he's very interesting, and also he's very fleshed out. Because we get his perspective. If it was spicy, you pour only a third in, but I'm going to do half because I fear that's going to be gross, but what can you do? So yeah, he's barely physically described, but his passions, his emotional problems, or just emotional complexity, because he's not problematic or doesn't have that many issues. Because, you know, unsolved issues are not very sexy. We stand men who go to therapy if they have problems, and he clearly deals with his problems in a mature way. This is the Chapaguri packet. I'm putting the whole thing in, just in stages. Oh, by the way, I should be also cooking some steak, but steak is expensive, and I have expensive mince, which I froze in burgers. I'm going to put this. Since already I have the wrong type of niyoguri, I might as well make the wrong kind of meat. Yeah, he deals with his problems. He's such a fleshed out character that, I don't know. I think the point that I'm making is that I would date him, okay? I would date Cal because he's just a very attractive prospective partner. There is also only one point where they went a little too far, where there is oil on the thingy, by the way, already. So where there is some feminist issue discussed, and he seems to have he seems to be very invested, and then my mind went just like, oh, and probably he does the dishes unasked too, like, you know, just, I mean, it's great. He's just like the ultimate fantasy. I am sure he does the dishes unprompted. We're just like a sexy man. And when it comes to the heroine, I really liked her too, because she has flaws. She's a very, very complex character in the sense that she's very, very fleshed out. You have to mix this very, very well because the sauces are powdered, so you have to do your best to cover the noodles in the sauce thingy. I might actually add some water. Very, very, very likable. She is also flawed. She has the flaw of being a quitter. If this book was like a long self-discovery book, then there is this thing in writing where you should consider your character's character traits, and because your strength is also your weakness. For example, if you're very protective, then you might be a bit overbearing and stuff like that. And our character is a quitter. She has not stuck with anything in her life, but later on, this very same trait is for the first time in her life framed as a positive. I'm not going to tell you how, because maybe you'll listen to it and you'll also appreciate the support that she gets for the first time in her life. I think more oil. Okay, and I'm back. This is fried. So my point is that she's a very cool character. Also, she's just nice, and I don't like spicy heroes or heroines who are mean in certain moments. She's just a very nice person because of her issues with commitment, not relationship wise, but life goal wise, up to date. I don't think I would have dated her, but I would definitely love to be her friend. She's also very likable. So like, great hero, relatable to a point, heroine. No, see, she is relatable. You don't have to relate to specific issues. I think you can just relate to people having issues and dealing with them. It's just good story. And maybe the story is you have to suspend your disbelief because who falling in love with requited love with a customer service rep and then staying with him on a 9-hour phone call is not very realistic, but I don't mind because it was just such a pleasant experience. The narrator voices were great, and just this is a romance who utilizes tropes, you know, twists them sometimes just uses them effectively in a way that made me reappreciate the genre, because I really thought that I would give up. The romance books are my escape, you know, like just like pleasure reads, and I was disappointed that I would have to give up on them for a while. So I'm glad that I found something that rekindled my love for the genre. Hold on, let me try it. Yeah, I think that's it, because this is very fishy. I mean, this tastes a lot of fish. Chwileczka, czekaj. Okay, and before I start eating, I'll prepare some food for Kirusia. Just excuse my mess, I'm just cutting broccoli. And so yeah, so that's the... I also did start The Martian, which I would rename Math and Mood on Mars, the book, as opposed to Math and Mood on Mars, the movie. I am also really loving it. Like all the books I'll mention now, I'm listening to on audiobooks. So I did need to come in contact with some other genres as well, and it was just a very positive experience. I don't know what I think about The Martian because I haven't finished yet, but Call Me Maybe, which also great title, gets like 5 stars out of me. That's like perfectly executed genre fiction. Okay, she doesn't eat here. I'll be back soon. So let us try the dish. Oh, that's very clumpy. You know what? I'll just put the things back in the pot because I won't finish the whole plate. But it looks spectacular, doesn't it? Maybe I'll put it in the thumbnail. Bone atrophy. No, hold on. Osteoporosis? That was the joke. That's the stuff. Honestly, 10 out of 10 recommend. There is still this unexpected level of spice and those unexpected little cats. I don't know what that is, but it's delicious as always. Thank you all for joining me. Hope you got a delicious snack as well. I'm going to be washing this down with a IKEA brand pear cider. Can you tell? It has like 0.1% of alcohol, but it's very good. I hope you'll get a snack. And yes, if you enjoyed this film, maybe consider subscribing or liking or commenting. All my social media and my dogs are listed in the description box. And yeah, I'm just going to eat it because I don't feel like I can eat on camera because I went on this one. It happened twice with 2 different guys. I was eating food. Once it was like a hot chocolate, like custard, chocolate custard, and once it was like a pasta, and they commented on the way I eat, and they made it kind of icky and creepy, because I don't want the way I eat to be considered a turn on. I'm, you know, so yeah, that's why I don't really eat on camera unless it's like nibbling food. Thank you, and bye bye.